It's November 12th, 2024. It's about 2 p.m. and I've been really busy this morning. I got up about 5:30, I suppose. I try to get up about 5, but overslept just a bit this morning. And so I spent time with the Lord this morning in prayer, worship, Bible, listening to the Bible. And the rest of the day, primarily, we've been doing homeschool, and I've cooked a couple of times, cleaned up the kitchen, done quite a bit of housework, cleaned out the refrigerator, several loads of laundry, hung laundry out on the clothesline, some various different things like that. So that's did my to-do list for the week. I usually try to do that on Monday, but didn't get a chance to yesterday. I was pretty busy. So that's what I've done so far, and I've got quite a bit left to do today. And I was in the process of finishing up fertilizing my evergreen trees at about half rate with holly tome. And I just thought I would do a little walk around. I like to do a video at least once a week. Okay. I don't really have time to do it much, more than that right now, because we're just so busy with homeschool and trying to get a lot of other stuff done, here inside and outside the house. So, but what else have I done today? Oh yeah. I have made started some sourdough, kefir, made some homemade coconut coffee creamer, finished up my buttermilk, got that in the fridge, some just different things like that. So it's a little bit different every day. So this is the life of homemaking, homesteading, homeschooling. Okay, which I really enjoy, by the way. Oh yeah, I talked to Mike on the phone for probably about 30 minutes, I guess. So that's one good thing about him. He drives a truck during the week, but he's allowed to talk on the phone as long as he has his headset on. So we can pretty much call him anytime we want and talk to him. And he talks to other people, on the phone that way too. All right. So anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of walk around in my house first and just show what everything looks like. The kitchen isn't completely cleaned up. I got a few dishes over there, but that's normal. We really don't have dishes in the sink because just about as soon as we get it cleaned up, there's more in there. I've got my kefir and sourdough starter on my the table over here covered up, and that will be ready to do something else, to do the next step with in about 12 to 18 hours. And it'll be, the sourdough, it'll actually be a few days before I'm ready to make bread from that. This is the beginning batch. And then I can just keep that going from now on. I actually got a 500-year-old sourdough starter, dehydrated. Yes, sweetie, go ahead and do that next. From France. Originally, it came from France, but it's supposed to be an old world, like 500-year-old sourdough dehydrated starter. It only cost about $20. Old world sourdough starter, and all the directions are in here. So, but it's a little bit of a process to get it going. Takes a few days, and I've got some mopping to do later, probably this evening. I'm going to be staining my utensil box that Mike and I built, same color as the bread box, which will match the cabinets. And other than that, I've got the kitchen and a few dishes to do. I've got the kitchen cleaned up. My fridge is cleaned out. This is my living room right now. It's a little bit dark in here. I've got most of the light. I try to keep most of the lights off when we're not in the room, to save on electricity. And thankfully, this month my bill was considerably lower. It was $188. And I figure on average, we probably have an electric bill of about $280 over the course of a year if you average it out over 12 months. And this is our main bathroom. And I'm not going to go in the kids' bedrooms. This house is about almost 2,000 square feet. I think 1850, 1870, something like that. There's a hallway, coat closet, plus a 500-600 square foot garage, and which we actually do heat and cool. So in total, we heat and cool about 2,400 square feet, I suppose. This is my utility room area, and I've got a pantry shelf here with some supplies, dry goods, and non-food supplies in here in these baskets. And I recently was given this table for free. It fit perfect in my utility room. And we have our really large deep fryer. I've got two. I've got a smaller one. I've got this really large one when I'm wanting to do bigger batches to put stuff in the freezer. Or you can also fry chickens, whole chickens, or a small turkey in there. And I keep my potatoes and my onions here, cat litter that we're using down there, and baskets of supplies, wool dryer balls, and some other supplies, my dryer, and then here's another shelf with some food, primarily food that's bought from the grocery stores, but I'm going to transition from buying any type of canned goods, with just a couple of exceptions, from the store, and just, getting it in bulk or growing it myself, canning, preserving. But we've still got some things to use up. So, I've got salsa. Even though I recently canned a lot of salsa, I do have a couple of jars of salsa left from all of these, some ketchup, mustard. Those are things I will not be buying again, but instead making homemade, just canning. Same thing with Alfredo sauce, the pizza sauce, hominy, the chickpeas. I'm just going to use dry from now on. I will still keep buying canned olives, tuna, salmon. That's pretty much it. And then we got some powdered sugar and some brown sugar and dried cranberries. And a big bag of rice, about 75 pounds of sugar down there. Some dark corn syrup. This might like pickling lime, and some dried kind of emergency goods: peanut butter powder, cream cheese, sour cream powder, butter powder, and then just some basic cleaning products and cat litter. And we've got my vacuum seal rolls up here, aluminum foil, Ziploc bags, wax paper, things like that. This whole thing's full of light bulbs, and we got lint, brushes, cleaning brushes, lint roller, rubber gloves, extra mop heads. I think the only thing there's extra mop heads and clothespins. I keep my newspapers for cleaning window glass. And basically the only cleaning supplies I buy now, I buy a toilet bowl cleaner. Well, there's quite a few things I buy, but in this room, there's wastebasket liners. We got borax, Phelps naphtha soap, disposable gloves, magic erasers, oil soap, the vacuum seal bags, laundry detergent, which what I do is I make laundry detergent, and then I mix it with a can of, or a big bottle of good, that's the cat food. That's cat food. So I've got cat food in here too. That's a bucket of cat food. Now here's my laundry soap, I believe. Yep. And so it's homemade laundry soap, like half, probably about 2/3 homemade laundry soap and 1/3 store-bought laundry soap. And and then so basically the cleaning products I use would be like Lysol, Fabuloso, Lysol concentrated cleaner. I dilute that down in a spray bottle just to make sure everything, my counters, toilet, everything gets disinfected good. And then I use the Lysol toilet bowl cleaner. Occasionally we use, if we need something really strong to clean with, we'll use, what's that stuff called? Mean Green, right? Mean Green. I usually get the big bottles of window cleaner for a refill. It's cheaper that way. We get CLR on occasion when we need to use that. And spray carpet cleaner for spots. And then when I go to clean all the carpets, I'll buy, a big bottle of the carpet cleaner. We buy Lysol disinfectant spray, the disinfectant wipes, and soap, of course. I buy the Kirkland, kind of Kirkland version of the Dawn dish liquid. And that's what I use for my dishes. I've got several of those. And then I use the Ajax when we're like washing our vehicles at home, or I'm washing my outdoor tables, or, you know, things like that. I buy the cheaper, bigger bottles of Ajax for that purpose. And we also have a septic tank. So that kind of soap is what you want to use to help keep your lines clear. And again, you know, I've got some food supplies. These are mostly grocery store items that, you know, were not bought in bulk, except maybe, you know, the canola oils those are a little bit larger containers, the peanut oil. Most of the rest of this is just, you know, individual purchased canned or dry goods, you know, from a regular grocery store like Aldi's, for example, or Walmart. So I've got a few things like that. And so I'll keep, you know, some storage in here. And then in here, this is our bedroom. And we have a storage room that we built in there, which needs to be organized. I'm not finished deep cleaning organizing that room or this room. I've went through and organized the entire house recently, the last month or two, and deep cleaned with the exception of this room. I need to do that room again. I need to help Hannah with her bookshelves. And then I think that's it. I think then I'll be done with everything inside of the house. But over here we've got some additional food storage. I've got some canned goods over here that need to be used up soon. That's why, you know, I've got a variety of things, beets and green beans and just different home canned foods. These are all peanuts and roasted sesame seeds that I bought in bulk that I've got in jars, dry sealed. And then basically this is my Mylar bag shelf. All of my other food that's in Mylar bags is in here, except for what I have in big buckets in my kitchen. So we've just got a variety of different things, and I've got it marked here. You can see what it is. So there's oats and rice and popcorn and dry milk, and I've got some coconut milk here. I use that to make my coffee creamer. Almond flour, bread flour, cornmeal, Hannah's gluten-free flour, lentils, banana chips, kidney beans, small red beans, pinto beans, black beans, more oats, black-eyed peas. So, and then a few bags of bread flour that I need to use up. And I bought these before I made the big purchase from Missouri Standard to stock up on my grains, because I'm doing all home milling now for the rest of my grains and flours. So, but I am going to be using up those bags. Okay. And then the only thing in this room that's like food supplies is just some rotini pasta and Mylar bags, because I just didn't have anywhere else to put it. So all of that's rotini pasta. But I've got... Anyway, I've got a lot more organization to do in this room. There's just a lot to do. We just got stuff piled in here right now. Obviously, got more cat food down here stored, and I've got a lot of organization to do in this room. And then over here, I've got a deep freezer, and then just more, storage. But obviously, this room has to be organized. It's pretty bad in there right now. And then I have this closet. This is our walk-in closet that we also keep food stored in. So mostly my home canned goods, which I have like probably 400 or 500 jars of home canned foods in here right now. And then the only other thing that comes from the grocery store, I did buy some tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes, tomato paste this year that I've got up there, because I only grew enough tomatoes this year for fresh eating, and just for a couple other things. And then I do have a big batch of salsa down here that I can, but I got those tomatoes at the a Mennonite farmer's market a month or two ago. And but everything else this has all been home canned. And then over here, I've got a lot of home canned foods on these shelves. And then I've got some coffee down here, and we've got some longer term storage, like, the Patriot Supply, freeze dried foods. And I've got several, Thrive Life foods. And down here we got mini quarts of dried fruit. And down there I've got, like, I think my homemade chili and canned chicken. And there's just a lot of, many, many different types of home canned foods in here, fruits, vegetables, jams, jellies, etc. Meals. And then I also bought from Aldi's, I've got I think about 6 of those left, 6 pasta sauces. And then also in these two, keep food in these 2 containers. So I've got dried pasta in Mylar bags in here, and more wheat berries that I didn't have another place to store, that's also in Mylar bags. And so we just keep this in here with our, with our clothes and our shoes. Mike and I built this shoe rack, put our shoes on. We keep our winter boots, rain boots, things like that down there. And then this is my side of the closet and my clothes. And then we also, have extra storage in here for blankets, pillows, my homemade lye soap. And then I've got more storage in here. All of this is lids, like lids and rings for canning. And I've got more up here, lids and hundreds of lids and rings, because I do a lot of canning. And then in those containers, I've got extra office supplies, paper supplies, things like that, and vitamins, extra vitamins. And then, got extra space in here for some of my jars that are not being used currently, and some extra appliances that don't fit in the kitchen. And then over here, this is another, other part of our bedroom. These are bookshelves that Mike and I built, and we've just, got baskets on here with different supplies and books and things like that. And this is our main bathroom, master bathroom. Yeah, and then we've also got a closet right here where I can keep additional supplies. And so mostly what's in here is non-food supplies. And, I've organized it the best I can. That's as good as it's going to get. So, and then, of course, I keep, non-food supplies in all of these cabinets. Over here is our kind of our first aid cabinet. So everything in this cabinet, with the exception of my homemade bathtub cleaner that's made out of vinegar and Dawn dish soap, is all medical supplies. And so, we got some K95 masks here, surgical dressing, gauze rolls, colloidal silver. I keep that out because we keep that handy in case we need to use it quickly for something. But anyway, I've just got a lot of different, I've got like 9 different tubs here. So this particular one, I've tried to keep it organized. This particular one has finger splints, tourniquet, airway opener, braces, wraps, gauze tape, and I think a couple of packages of licorice tea. So, and then like one is for cold relief, another is for pain relief, et cetera, et cetera. And then we just got, different types of supplies in there. But that's my medical cabinet. And I've got this charging right now. I love these. We got these lanterns at Costco for $15. We actually went back. We only got 2. We went back to get more, and they were already gone like 2 days later. So they had like a huge shelf, and by the time we got back, they were completely gone. But this puts out a whole lot of light, and you can charge it with solar. You can charge it with the cord that comes with it, or put batteries in it. I went back to get more as Christmas gifts, and they were sold out. Okay. And then here we have a coat closet. And basically in here I keep my baking soda and wreaths. You know, I've got a couple extra decorations out there. I've got seasonal wreaths I put on the front door. We've got our wrapping paper and gift bags and extra bottles of vinegar and also extra bottles of water storage for emergency water storage, and then all of our coats and raincoats and things like that. And then the garage, of course, we turned into a little apartment for Josh. It's heated and it's cooled, and we also have a real big deep freezer in there that we store food in. And then coming back into the kitchen over here, this is all food storage. And so all of this is this has been purchased recently within, I think in September, if I'm not mistaken. The month of September, I picked these up from Azure Standard. The food, that is, the buckets I bought online. These are Gamma Seal lid buckets, and then also down in there is 5-gallon Mylar bags that have a zip top. And so I took all of the, I repackaged all of the grains I bought from Azure Standard. It's also got oxygen absorbers down in there. But we've got dried corn. Most all of this has to be milled. I've got an Nutri-Mill, electric grain mill, and also a hand mill, which I keep sitting here on my table. I prefer to use that for making cornmeal. But anyway, we got dried corn and quinoa, and that is flour. It's high gluten flour I use specifically for making pizza. Buckwheat groats, rye. These also all have to be milled down. Buckwheat groats, rye grain, red wheat berries, hard red wheat berries, soft white wheat berries, and spelt berries. And so that's what's in those containers and ready for milling. And really, ideally, it's best to mill your grains within a week or two of using them. So they'll store much longer. These can store for years. Okay, in those buckets that way, kernel, the berries, the whole grains. They're also completely rodent proof. They're waterproof, with those Gamma Seal lid buckets on them. There's no air it's getting in. So, if you do buy anything in bulk, you want to make sure you repackage it correctly so that it will last you a long time. Okay, but ideally, to keep the nutrition at its highest level, you want to mill the grains, within a week or two of using them. And so I just leave them in those buckets, and then I, just mill so much at a time, a little bit at a time, for use in baking. All right. So that's basically it. And then here in the cabinets, I've got food stored, in my cabinets. This is my spice cabinet and some spices and bouillon and things like that. And some spices I buy in bulk and I repackage it like into these quart jars. And then others that we don't use as much of, I just buy the little containers. But there's some things that we use quite a bit of, and it makes more sense to buy it in bulk because I do use a lot of spices in my cooking. And then down here I've got some extra Mylar bags, primarily with some like spaghetti, I believe. And there's we got one container left of all these pancake syrup, and that's the last one I'm buying. Yep, that's it. And we're switching to just maple syrup or home canned fruit syrups because that's a lot better for you, and we're trying to get away entirely from using any kind of products that have corn syrup in them. And that was one of the reasons why we bought this. This is like a Ninja carbonated drink maker. So you can drink this instead of soda. Mike, he still drinks his sodas, but we rarely ever buy pop. And so if we want something carbonated and sweet and flavor with some flavor, you know, sometimes we'll use this. And then up here, I've got my specialty vinegars, you know, like white wine, red wine, balsamic, a couple of apple cider vinegars, the coffee I'm currently using, the honey we're currently using, some molasses, whole bean coffee. And up here, the peanut butter we're currently using. It's kind of like a working pantry. And I've got peanut butter stored more peanut butter stored elsewhere. And then we've got instant coffee that we use sometimes for drink mixing or in baking. And then this is also great for emergencies. And some cocoa powder and ice cream salt, kosher salt, the dried corn husk for making homemade tamales, steaming tamales. And then over here, I've got raisins up there, maybe 10, 15 pounds of raisins on that top shelf. We got coconut oil and baking ingredients and seasoned salt, pepper, Ziploc bags, birthday candles, pickling supplies, jam jelly making supplies, things like that. And then in this cabinet, I've got my black teas stored, cooking spray. This is also something I'm not going to buy any more of after we run out, because I found out you can buy like just a spray bottle and then put your oil in it and use that. And that would be much better than using these aerosol cans and then just be able to use a pure oil that you just spray out of a plastic bottle that's specifically meant for that. So I've got a couple of convenience items up here, not much. Bought this on sale. We were using this up to make pancakes. And I got one box of taco shells left. That's also the last box of taco shells I will be buying, because we recently, in the last couple of months, bought a taco shell maker that you put down, like I can put down into that big deep fryer just by using homemade corn tortillas. And these have been in here for like a couple of years. But they're still good. I checked the expiration date on them, and they're good for like another year out, I think, or several months out. But I'm going to make all of these at once into like a clam, maybe a clam corn chowder. So, you know, don't want it to go to waste. And then up here I've got chamomile tea. I have more boxes of chamomile tea, but again, this is a working pantry. I've got that in that little tin. Some more flavored teas in that tin, green tea. I've also got more green tea stored in Mylar bags. Actually, I think that was in that other, in my storage room. That was something I forgot. There's 2 food items I got in that storage room, and that was the green tea in Mylar bags and rotini pasta. And then we got chia seeds and cheddar cheese powder and tahini for making hummus. And again, this is kind of a working pantry. So I've got, steel cut oats and some popcorn up here. And I think Vital Wheat gluten for bread making, sesame seeds, a couple of things like that is what's in this cabinet. And what else? I think that's it for food. I keep, no, we got a couple, we don't buy cereal very often anymore, but these were on sale. So occasionally we'll buy something like this, and they're gluten-free, so my daughter can eat them. So they were marked down like a couple of dollars a box. And so we got these big family-sized corn checks and rice checks. Could even use that also to make some of that, what is it called, Chex Mix. So I think I've got all the other ingredients. I can make Chex Mix using those. And then I've got olive oil down here and some canola oil. Yeah, and that's basically it. And then this it needs to be reorganized, but it's pretty full. This is the freezer like I use the things that need to be used up soon, right? The other deep freezers we keep, our meats and frozen vegetables, fruits, things like this. But everything in this freezer really needs to be used up soon. These are leftovers, okay? We'll keep leftovers in the fridge for maybe a day or two and eat on those. If we have anything left over, it goes in here in these containers. And these are great for Mike to take with him to work also. Or if somebody, is just really hungry in between meals and they want something to eat, they can pull one of those out and eat it. that's what this is. I think this is leftover broccoli cheese soup that I made like a week ago. And I've just got different things up there like that. And then we got shredded carrots, and this I got on sale, and we'll probably be making these this month around Thanksgiving. And I bought this for Thanksgiving also for my pumpkin pies. So again, we don't buy, and I think Mike, he actually splurged and did get some of these at Aldi's. It does say it doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup, so that's good. But surprisingly, I've not even had one of these. Surprisingly, like a week and a half later, I think, there's still 3 of these left. So that's amazing. But I've not even had one. I probably won't. And then up here, I've got some frozen pesto. I've only got 3 jars left of my frozen basil pesto. I got 1 jar left of frozen homemade refried beans. And we got some butter. The butter up here, I've got more butter in my deep freezers. And my fridge, it needs some help. I did clean it out earlier, but it's clean, but it's not necessarily organized. This is salad mix that we need to use up this week. These are some leftover sauteed vegetables that I'm going to be using in my dinner tonight. And then I get all that out of there. I can put this milk up here on the top shelf and try to get everything a little bit more reorganized. Hey, honey. But anyway, Hannah, would you care to load the dishwasher but don't start it? Thanks. Let me get my sunglasses. There they are. Okay, I'll go this way first. All right, so that's basically the inside of the house, except for the kids' rooms and all of my food storage that I have right now. And I'll just do a quick walk around, because I did a video about a week ago of the outside of the house, but I'll just do kind of a quick walk around the property outside and show what's going on and some changes I've made in the last week, things I've got done. So I'm kind of in the process right now of finishing up fertilizing these evergreen trees that are creating a border fence around one side of our property by using half-rate Holytown. But it's quite a bit of work, because I have to use a hoe and remove all of the grass about to the perimeter of the tree, and then loosen the soil and put that fertilizer in, and then mix that in, and then I'll have to do that again in the spring. And I won't keep doing that from now on, but the first few years, that's a good thing to do till you really get your tree established. And it helps it to grow a lot better and grow faster. And the goal is to produce a privacy fence out of those trees. So I'm trying to take care of them the best I can, but I'm going to finish that up this afternoon. And then I've got, you see all this wood back here in the back of my pickup truck. I loaded all this by myself yesterday. These are the last of my raised beds. I decided to take them out, and I'm just doing completely in-ground gardening next year. I think I had 6 left, and a couple, some little narrow ones up against cattle panels, but I just removed all of those. I think it's just honestly, it's going to be easier to do it a different way. And probably will do it that way from now on. I don't think I'm going to fool with raised beds anymore. And I've had those for years, but we're kind of just going to go back to kind of just in-ground gardening. With one exception, I've got a raised bed on the side of the house that's got mint in it, and that's very invasive, and so I have to keep that in a box. But my backyard, I think it looks a lot better. It's just a lot cleaner looking, and I think I like it better without the raised beds. But all of this soil has been amended, good over the last few years, because it's been used for gardening. And so what I'm planning on doing, down again. I don't know what happened. So, I'm not sure at what point my broadcast cut off. It couldn't have been too long ago though, because it let me resume. If it's been off for too long, it won't usually let you resume. So anyway, let me go back out here, and I'm going to do a walk around real quick of the property and show what I've got done this week, or in the last 7 days. All right, there we go. Okay, so again, I was saying that I was going to finish up fertilizing all of these evergreen trees that go around the front and around down the side of the property, and a little bit of work because I have to remove the grass all the way around the perimeter of the tree with a hoe, and then loosen the soil, put the holly tone down at half rate, and then mix that into the soil. So that's what I'm going to be working on this afternoon, getting that finished up. And then all that wood in the back of the pickup truck is where I've removed the raised beds yesterday. I took the ones I had left. I had 6 left. We're going to take it off to the landfill Saturday. They were starting to rot. But I'm not going to be putting in any more raised beds. I'm going to keep this one in because it's got my mint in it, and that's invasive and it has to stay in a box. And so I've got all these raspberries here. Later I'm going to be pruning, trellising these, and then also starting some new plants. I've decided to start new plants all the way down this row, and I should have enough to do that from these plants that are already in here. So I'll get free raspberry plants. I'm going to be putting them in all the way down the row. And I've got laundry hanging up. Look, something's fell down on the ground. I've got laundry hanging up here, bedding on the clothesline, especially during the spring. Summer and fall, I like to use the clothesline. Help save on electricity. So I removed the last of the raised beds. There were 6 left. And then also some narrow ones that were up against those cattle panels. And I busted those apart using a sledgehammer last night. It was a lot of work. And then I had to pull the truck around here and then load all that wood up. And then the other wood that was not painted or stained or didn't have anything like that on it, I put up there on the pile to be burned. The rest of it's going to the landfill. You can't burn anything with paint or stain or anything like that on it. So I think this looks a lot better back here. Property looks a lot cleaner, and I like it like this. And what I'm planning on doing is tilling an area up from, I'm still going to be using those cattle panels primarily for cucumbers and some tomatoes. And so my garden area will be from the back of that cattle panel all the way down to here where my raised beds used to be, because all that soil under there, most of that soil under there is good. It's been used for years. And then take it all the way down to kind of that right down here to the corner where that crepe myrtle's at, because that's where our chicken coop used to be. And that soil's also really good. And then all the way back up there to that tree, that peach tree, and then over all the way to the cattle panels. So it's going to be a really big garden area. Okay, so from there all the way down here, all the way down to that corner, and then all the way up to that peach tree and over. That whole area is going to be tilled up. I'm going to be bringing in more compost after I plant. After it's planted, I'll bring in more compost and put that down as a covering on the top. And then next year, that will be tilled in. That compost that goes on the top is like a mulch this year will be tilled in the next year. And so that's how I'm going to do this whole area. And then I have another area over here behind my blackberries that also has really good soil, that several truckloads of compost or mulches that's been broken down has been brought over the years, and a few feet back from these blackberries all the way up to the fruit orchard and kind of down in the square. And so that's a really good space there that I'm going to be using probably to grow corn, some corn and melons, watermelon, corn, pumpkins, pie pumpkins in particular. We really don't like squash that much. I'm not going to be growing squash anymore because my family just won't eat it. I'll eat it, but they pretty much won't eat it, so there's no need to grow it. So, but they will eat pumpkins, so I'm growing pie pumpkins and some corn and a couple watermelon plants probably in that space. And I thought about using the space up there on the hill, but the more I think about it, I can't get no water up there. I can't get the water hose up there. It's kind of slanted going up, you know, and it'd just be a lot easier to have my garden spaces down here closer to the house and closer to the water hose and my greenhouse. So I'm just going to you know, till up, bring in compost and grow in those two areas. So this will be my biggest garden right here. It'll be a huge garden right here. And then I'll have that other space over there for growing vegetables and herbs. And that's basically it. No more raised beds. That's it. No more raised beds. And I think it's going to look a lot cleaner, a lot nicer too, that way. And then I may even plant a cover crop in the early fall in those garden sections instead of letting the grass grow back. You know, just planting a cover crop and then tilling that under in the spring, because that will be really beneficial also, you know, for the soil. So what I've got left out here to do is I've got to clean up around my blackberries and prune those, trellis them. I've got to prune and trellis my grapes, prune and trellis all those raspberries, and also transplant some of them so that that whole row of cattle panels filled with raspberry plants. And then later, you know, in the probably midwinter, late winter, I'll be pruning all of my fruit trees, all my ornamental trees, pretty much everything. I prune everything. And then we'd be cutting down, you know, the grasses, of course. And the great thing about these maiden grasses, well, they dry up, you know, over the winter. And then they can be cut down in the late winter, late February, early March. And then that can be used as free mulch, free straw mulch to cover, you know, garden plants to help keep weeds out. I used that last year around my tomatoes, and it worked great. And there was no weeds at all. I put a layer around the tomato plants, and I didn't have any weeds. I might have pulled weeds like a couple of times, like 5 minutes or something. So it worked really, really great as a free mulch to help keep weeds out. So I got to do that. I'm going to be bringing in a truckload of compost probably late this fall, maybe before it gets too cold, before the ground freezes. I'll probably in December, go get a truckload of compost and put that around all of my fruit trees and some my grapes and my berries, just to put it right directly on top of the soil. That will help them out for next year. And then Caleb, I believe, is going to stain the picnic table and this table and my other table that's down there behind the back porch. They need to be water seal stained. You really need to do that every year to keep your wood from rotting. And then I've got some cleanup to do up there in the woods. Mike and I have to do some brush cut back along this back side of the property and all along this side of the property. We've got to do brush cut back, put that up on our brush pile, and do another brush burn. And then I've got to pressure wash my back porch and restain it before it gets too cold. And then also paint my little porch on the back in front of my shed. Just do like a light top coat. And I think that, and then one more thing, we've got all these extra 2x2s down here that we've had collected over the years from different projects or just had left over. And we're going to saw those, make all of those into garden stakes for staking tomatoes and peppers and things like that. And so we'll probably do that sometime this month. And then I'll get those put back in one of my sheds and use those next year. And then we have buckets of walnuts down here that Caleb will help with to get all the holes off, and then I'll need to start curing those black walnuts over the winter. And I think that might be it. I think that's all that's left to do outside over the next few months. And then, just maintain the plants that I've got going on, and just a few little things I got going on here in the greenhouse, like my microgreens and my rosemary plant, and keep spinach going as long as I can, growing that, and keep checking, take care of my garlic. It's starting to come up, and my walking onions, and then also over the winter we'll be doing indoor seed starting for transplanting flowers and herbs and vegetables into the garden spaces in the spring. And I also mowed again. I'm not fooling with, compost this year, so I'm pretty much just mowing up all the leaves. The temperatures here are pretty warm, actually, this month, and so the grass is still growing, so I'm still having to get out here and mow the whole property about once a week, and then I'm just mowing up the leaves, as they come down when I mow the yard. But that's probably what I'm going to do. All the rest of the leaves that fall off the trees, I'll just mow those up this year instead of I'm not going to fool with trying to save them or collect them. Not this year anyway. I probably will next year. So that's basically it. I just wanted to do another video and show, kind of show what was going on inside the house and what was going on, on the property and what I'm busy doing. I've got a to-do list made for the rest of the week. I've got quite a few things I got to get done this week, besides regular homeschool teaching, cooking meals, cleaning, doing the laundry, finance management, all that kind of good stuff. Extra stuff that has to be done. And so this week I'm making kefir and sourdough starter and probably sourdough bread by this weekend. I'm also going to be starting a big batch of kombucha. I'm going to be making three or four good size different types of cookie dough rolls to put into the freezer. I think I'm going to make chocolate chip, snickerdoodle, oatmeal raisin, and peanut butter. And so you can actually make the cookie dough into rolls, put it in wax paper, put it in the freezer like that, and then slice it, and then put it like in your air fryer or toaster oven to bake. Or you can drop the cookies or form the cookies, put them on a large sheet, put them in the freezer, let them freeze solid on wax paper, and then remove them after they're frozen and put them into like a tub, some kind of freezer proof tub. And then you got ready to bake cookies, and they can be baked from the frozen state. And so I'm planning on doing about 4 batches of that this week. And I've got to take one more load of trash off. I think by next week, hopefully, we're going to get a trash service started. I'm still in the process of trying to, organize a little bit, and there's a little bit of extra trash to take off. So I was waiting until I was finished with that before we start our trash pickup service, which is only supposed to be about $20 a month, which would be the same we estimated and what we're paying for gas to get there anyway, because it takes about 45 minutes for me just to get there and back, and we only get 20 miles per gallon to our truck on the gas, so it would equal out to about the same. So we're not losing any money, we're just gaining time, and it's convenient. So after I get the organization finished and don't have any extra trash to take off, which hopefully will be after this week, we're going to start using that trash service pickup, and that's going to save me some time each week. So I've got to do that, and then, I'll probably be doing some, trying to finish up some deep cleaning organization in those rooms I mentioned before that I haven't got done yet. Hopefully get it finished by the end of this week. And then I've got to finish fertilizing all those evergreens. I believe Caleb is going to stain the outdoor tables this week. I'm going to pressure wash and stain the back porch and paint the shed porch. We have to take that load off to the landfill on Saturday and stop and get gas. I don't need to do any shopping this week, thank God. I'm good there. I don't have to get any more groceries until next week, just a few things. And let's see, what else we got to get done. There was a few other things on my list, but I'm just going to try to get done as much as I can. And I usually, I usually try to make a list again at the beginning of the week and try to get everything done by the end of that week and work off of my master to-do list, which I usually have written out for at least 3 months at a time. And sometimes extra stuff gets added, but I generally try to do it quarterly. And then at the beginning of each week, pick what I prioritize and pick what needs to be done on that list. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I got to make homemade yogurt. Get some homemade Greek yogurt started in my Instant Pot. I'm also going to stain this utensil box that Mike and I built. Probably do that today. And got to do the finance management. I believe that might be it. That everything I need to get done before the end of day, Friday. And then over the weekend, our plans, and I discussed this with Mike, and we came to agreement on what we're going to do that weekend. And so over the weekend, basically, I just have to do some light, cooking. I generally don't do very much, just basic house chores. Kids help with that over the weekend. What? You want outside? Just a minute. They're meowing at me. You have to let me out. Let me out. Go on. Have your fun. Okay. All right. So I have to let them out because they'll just stand there at the door meowing constantly until you let them out. So I've got 2 cats that are that way. They have to go outside. Sasha, our oldest cat, she's 7. She's almost 18 years old, believe it or not. She's a scrawny little thing, but I don't know. I mean, we thought several times that she was going to die, but she's still here. She's still making it. 18-year-old cat. You ever heard of? I mean, most cats don't live that long, but she's made it 18 years. Bless her heart. Anyway, this weekend, so I'm going to go pick up Mike early Saturday morning, and then I've already got that wood loaded in the truck, and then on the way back home, we're going to stop at I think the landfill closes like 12 or 1, so we'll have plenty of time to do it. But we're going to stop on the way home, get gas, fill up the truck, fill up the tank with gas in the truck. We usually have to do that once a week, and then we'll go directly to the landfill and load that wood. And then the only other thing I have to get done this weekend is just some cooking, and that's about it. And then we're probably going to go on an outing this weekend because the weather's so nice if it doesn't rain. So we haven't done outdoor activity in a couple of weeks or so. So we're going to probably do that. And then we might go ahead and build the pasta rack, which we've already got the wood for. Mike bought a few weeks ago. We've just not got around to it yet. So we bought some project wood to do a couple of projects, one of which was my utensil box in my kitchen. Another was a large pasta drying rack for homemade pasta, which can also be used for drying herbs or cheese, and can also be used for drip hanging cheese cloth for making soft cheeses. And so that would probably take a couple hours or so and to make, not very long. And so we may do that this weekend also. So that's basically what I've got left to do the rest of the week and this weekend. And then, again, my regular duties of, cooking 3 meals a day. Sometimes sometimes it doesn't take me that long to meal, especially if we have leftovers, which is great. Or we have sandwich day or something like that. But, I also have to get all of my regular chores done, regular scheduled daily chores and weekly chores done, plus keep on top of the laundry and wash all the bedding and sheets every week, and the finance management every week, any shopping that needs to be done that week, and in addition to that, homeschool teaching. So, and then all the extra stuff that I add, to my to-do list, that all the extra stuff, and there always is extra stuff that has to be done that week. So I just thought I would I'd do a video. Probably won't do another one until a week from now, but I thought I would do a video and just walk around inside my house, show my pantry areas, talk about what I've got done outside and what changes I'm making to my yard and garden areas now and for next year. What, and then the work I've got left to do outside, and then the work I've got left to do the rest of this week. So just kind of fun to do a video, like this now and again, maybe once a week. That's about all I have time to do. And I really don't have time to edit, so this is just live and it's raw and it's uncut, all that kind of stuff. So that's all I got time for. Anyway, everybody have a blessed day.